In terms of every single character in 2xKO right now, I believe that Ekko is probably the best character in my opinion. I'm going to show you why he's the best right now. Let's get it started. Now before we even get off character select, you have to pick two characters in 2xKO. And personally, I believe that Yasuo has some of the best assist synergy with him. And if you want to pick Fuse, I would say either Freestyle or 2x Assist. Ekko's supers don't really necessarily lend well to double down, at least not with Yasuo. But obviously you can pick and choose and pick whichever character you feel plays best with Ekko. But right now, this is an Ekko guide. We're picking Yasuo with Freestyle, and we're going to get into it. Now the first thing we're going to note with Ekko are his normals. Now Ekko has some very strong normals compared to other characters in the game. First off, his lights. Ekko's lights aren't spectacular. They're not the worst in the game. They're just good buttons to press when you're up close. His standing and crouching light. His crouching light is a low. So that means your opponent's going to have to block crouching for that. And then when it comes to one of his command normals that we're going to be talking about next, it's going to pair really well. And next we got his mediums. Ekko's mediums. Very great. I think his stand medium might be one of the best buttons in the entire game. And crouching medium is pretty good too. Crouching medium is also a low. A low that reaches from this distance and can combo into heavies. And then his jump medium. Nice quick little overhead. Hits him good. Real nice. Then you got your standing heavy. Your standing heavy, you want to run in with your mediums and then medium heavy to confirm. To do a little 2-hit combo. That's mainly what you're going to be doing with Ekko. Main game plan, run in, medium heavy. Literally. Medium, stand heavy. His jump heavy, great little overhead. Got some good distance on it. And then his crouching heavy, just like every other characters in this game, is a launcher. Launches your opponent up, and then if you hit up forward after the launcher, you can continue the combo, but we're going to get more into combos later. Next, Ekko's command normals. Ekko has down forward light. You can see on the controller display right there. Down forward light. Nice little low. It's not too much more range than his crouching light, but you might hit it there. The best usage of the crouching down forward light right here is to pair it with his down forward medium, is a standing overhead. So you want to make your opponent block low and then standing overhead. So 1, 1, 2. And while you can't combo off the standing overhead, that's where you would use your assist to get a confirm and do some damage there. So I would feel if you're going to be using your overhead, I would recommend heavily that you hit your assist right after so you can try to do some confirms. Most characters should be able to confirm with their basic assist. If not, that's why I have Yasuo, because I feel that his assist works best with his standing overhead. And then finally, his last little command normal. 2xKO, you got dashing. If you just hit forward, you'll dash, but if you hold forward and then keep holding it, you'll start running. And then if you hit running heavy, Ekko does a quick 3 little hit combo by himself, and then you'll also be airborne afterward. So if you want to do this, medium, heavy, little 6-hit combo, actually pretty useful in most situations if you can time the medium in the air and keep it going. Get a little 6-hit combo, very good. What's good about this move is that when your opponent blocks it, let me just set the opponent to block for a little bit. They have to block overhead if you press a button afterward, which is pretty useful because most people will be blocking crouching in this game. And now, the meat and potatoes, Ekko's special moves. So 2xKO has 2 special buttons, S1 and S2. You just saw what S1 did right there. We're going to be going over all the things you can do in S1 and then all the things you can do with S2 and then supers. So right now, if you just hit S1, throws a projectile. Notice how the opponents got slowed down there. This is Time Winder, or just people just call it Fireball, projectile, whatever you want to name it. this projectile, if it hits close, just treats like a regular hit. You can just do medium, heavy, S1, it'll combo. But if you're a bit of a distance away from your opponent, the Time Winder will start moving slowly. If your opponent touches the slow Time Winder, they get stuck in time for a little bit, and that's where Ekko shines. If you hit jump with S1, you can throw it in the air, and it becomes slower much faster. The main thing you're going to be wanting doing with Ekko, if you're not running in and hitting your medium and heavy to confirm into damage, is when you're farther away, just toss these around. Standing, S1, jump S1, and when they get stuck in time, right here, just pop a combo. So you're going to be wanting to stay at a distance, but not too far away, so you can confirm and make sure you get the most out of that slow Time Winder hit. Like that. So that's standing S1 and crouching S1. Note that while a projectile is on screen, you cannot throw another one. I'm mashing S1 right here, and while there's one on the screen, I cannot throw another one. So you always got to be careful of your usage of that because it's very strong. So that's jump S1, regular S1. If you're crouching S1, it's a little toss, Time Winder toss. And while it doesn't do much regularly, you would think it just tosses it right in front of you. It's very good when it comes to anti-airing. What do I mean by that? Let me show you real quick. So if I were to jump as Jinx and then jump forward, it beats most aerial approaches. So as you can see, Jinx is trying to hit me with an attack from the air. If I toss this, it stays out for a little while, and it protects me a little bit. It's not the main anti-air you want to be using. With Ekko, it's down heavy. You want to be using down heavy to anti-air, as is with most characters. All characters have a anti-air that's a down heavy, which means if your opponent's jumping at you with a button, you hit down heavy, you swat them out of the sky, and you can keep comboing. But another main use for S1 is, or down S1, is if you hit heavy afterwards, you can actually hit it like a baseball bat, or like a baseball. Ekko's weapon is a bat, so he uses his time when there's a pseudo little baseball. You hit heavy, you knock it over towards your opponent. So it has multiple uses. You can use it as a slow little anti-air if you think somebody's gonna jump at you, or you could just hit it and use it as a projectile, keep your pressure going. And then last but definitely not least is forward S1. Take a break. Now this move is a quick little combo move. Does 3 hits automatically off medium and heavy. You can hit forward S1. Does a 5-hit combo. And what's unique about this move is that it swaps sides. So notice how Ekko is on the right side now. Now he's on the left side. If your opponent is blocking, they'll have to change their blocking. So notice how Jinx had to block on the left. She would have to change her blocking to the right since Ekko swaps sides, because blocking in fighting games is relative to your opponent. So if Jinx is on my right, I have to block left. If she's on my left, I have to block right, and vice versa. So if your opponent's not ready, they can get chipped up by this little last hit, and then you can keep it going. So that's important to note. If you think your opponent doesn't have it like that, if they're unaware, just throw it out. You might get hit, but it's a risk we're all willing to take as Ekko players. Next up is Ekko's most important, and I think his coolest feature, is Chrono Strike, or S2, right here. So if you look at Chrono Strike, it's just a regular hit, but there's an after image behind it. If you hit S2 while the after image is there, he will do an additional attack. So right there, if you hit medium heavy, S2, S2, hit the same button twice, he'll say replay, replay, and he'll go back to his clone and do an additional attack. This move, S2, can be held and be done in the air. And in the air version can also be held. So the regular version, just one hit. Air version, multiple hits. The regular version, just one hit on the ground, and if you charge it, you get to swap sides. So after you hit with S2, you'll leave the clone there, you hit the button once more, and then you teleport back to the clone. This is true with the air version. If you hit the one more time, while you're in the air, you'll do an additional attack. And then there's down S2, which is a roll. This roll will swap sides with your opponent. Notice how I'm on the right side. Hit down S2, you'll roll to the left side, and vice versa. This is good for making your opponent think that you're going to keep the pressure on. So I would intentionally stopping this combo to roll, and then grab my opponent when they least expect it. So that's all the S2 moves. Jump S2, standing S2, and crouching S2. Now, a unique property that is really what makes Ekko a complex character, but a beginner character at the same time, because you don't necessarily have to use this technique at all if you don't want to. But by holding the S2 button and then pressing S2 again, notice how I didn't do an attack there? All charged S2 moves, if you hold the button for S2 and then press the button again, you don't do an attack. And you might think that's worse, because why wouldn't you do an attack? But you might say, do this, call an assist, and then change your opponent's side. It's all about swapping sides with Ekko. You don't want to be necessarily on the same side. So let's say I call in Yasuo for assist, I roll. You roll, and there you go. So it's all about swapping sides, keeping your opponent guessing. That's the main part of Ekko. So after you do a charged S2 attack, you can hit down S2 to do Chrono Break. Now this, like I said, you don't necessarily have to use this move. As a complete beginner or an Ekko player, if you just want to get in and play Ekko, medium heavy, S2, S2, perfectly fine. You learn one air combo, you'll be fine. But if you really want to get into it, use the charged versions of your S2 moves, and then hit down S2 for a break, and then you can combo off of that as well. And if you don't want to do it, if you hit down S2 while there is no charge clone, you can do times up, this little kick. What's good about this little kick is that it's safe on block, so if your opponent blocks it, they won't be able to punish it. Which is pretty useful since all of Ekko's S2 moves, this being regular Chrono Strike, the air version, and not the low, not the roll, because the roll doesn't have an attack, but every single one of those regular moves, if your opponent blocks them, they will be able to punish you. So you got to be wary about that. But this move, if you hit down S2, after any clone is on screen, you'll be good. You'll be safe, perfectly fine. So always remember, you have your charged clone, and you have your charged moves. If you don't feel like doing an attack, just make sure you do a charge move. And then the last thing, which is the most important thing about Ekko's clones, is that let's say you do an attack and you said, dang, I want to do a roll now, but I don't want to, go back to my clone because my clone's there. Every time I hit S2, I go back to my clone. If you hit forward S2 after you do an S2 move, you will create another clone, which is important for one of his most basic combos that we're going to get into later. But if you just hit forward after the fact, that includes even the air version of S2. So if I hit S2 and then forward S2, I don't go back to the clone. See? Just create a new clone every single time. So you just have to hit forward. And for the roll, where you have to hit down, just hit down forward. Notice on the stick, because I'm swapping sides, fighting games are relative, because I'm swapping sides, I have to hit down forward at a different direction, because I'm swapping sides with my opponent. So down forward here, down forward there. Boom, bam, boom. So that's it with S2. So if you want to use S2 to do cool combos, I would recommend it. It's basically the main button you're going to be using for combos, S2. S1 is your projectile button. So I would say once you land the hit with slow timewinder and you're here, bam, bam, simple combo like that will do you good. Next up is Ekko's supers. Now he has 3 supers. The way you input them is that if you hit S1 and then any of the buttons, so light, medium, or heavy, notice how they're highlighted there, light, medium, heavy. If you hit S1 and light, medium, or heavy, doesn't matter which one, you will do a level 1 super. Notice on the bottom left, Ekko has 3 bars. It's the max amount of gauge you can have. You spend those on supers. Notice I went from 3 to 2. You do Mega Time Winder, Ekko's first level 1 super. Now, super is just a big version of Time Winder. It doesn't slow down your opponent like regular Time Winder does, but it does have a unique effect. So let's say you're doing a combo, light, medium, and you want to do the super. So I would do light, medium, S1 plus light, boom. Throw it back, and it comes back to me. Now remember, down S1 and heavy, you knock the Time Winder towards you. The same thing applies to the super. So if I do the super and I hit heavy, I hit the super back. Well, you might be saying, well, that didn't do anything. Why would I do that? If you hit down heavy after the super, down plus heavy, I missed it. Down plus heavy after the super, it hits them, and you can go for an even larger combo than before. So you would do medium, heavy, super, down plus heavy, run up, bam, 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 more stuff. So I would say that's a pretty intermediate level thing. You'll see most Ekkos do. They'll pop the super, they'll hit the down heavy, and they'll continue the combo. Next up is Ekko's second super, Entangled Time. This is a bit very complicated super, honestly. I don't find myself using it too often, and as a beginner, I don't necessarily recommend you to, but if you can if you want to. This super right here, Entangled Time, makes a permanent clone follow you for the duration of that little wheel on the bottom left right there. Costs 1 bar. Ekko pulls his time machine, and you get a permanent charged clone, which is different from a permanent regular clone. So let's say I just hit S1, I'll always go back to the clone and I won't do an attack. And that's useful because Ekko's charge move, Chrono Break, can only be done with a charged clone. So let's say an example of a usage of this would be you would do forward S1 and then hit down, and then you can keep comboing because this move hits off the ground. So normally if you hit forward S1, your opponent is knocked towards the ground. You can't do much. You just get like maybe a little hit there, but you can't continue the combo. But this move that you get off of Entangled Time allows you to continue the combo. See, you wall bounced and you kept going. This super can be used for a multitude of ways. If you wanted to, pop it after grab, throw a projectile, and then, be safe afterward. Because you have a permanent regular clone, you could do a charge move and then go back. Or let's say you threw a projectile and now you don't want to be in the recovery anymore. There's a lot of things you can do with it. I would recommend experimenting with yourself, trying to figure out how you think is the best way to use this. I personally found that after S1, you can do this and hit down S1 to continue or down S2 to continue the combo. That's the main way I use it, but I don't find myself using it all too much. It's a relatively useful super, but I would say it's not that amazing. And then finally, Ekko's ultimate, Attempt 37. This is so cool. Goes back in time, does 500 damage off a regular hit. And you can do it off of forward S2. You can do it off of grab. If you were to do a regular air combo, just 1 bounce. Do it again. A lot of Ekko players use S1 to combo and do a lot of damage. This move, Mega Time Winder, hit it back for more. But if you have level 3, I would say find an excuse to just pop it and use it, because it's going to do a lot of damage, as most level 3s in this game will. Most ults in this game do a hefty amount of damage if you land them. And then finally, well, not actually, I thought the supers were finally, but Ekko's assists. Now, if let's say you don't want to play Ekko as a point character, you don't feel like Ekko's too strong, his assists most definitely are. Back plus assist throws the Time Winder. So let's say if your opponent has trouble with projectiles, or if your main character doesn't have projectiles, like Yasuo for instance here, this is why I feel like they're such a good team. You can just throw the projectile. If they get touched by it, you get a free combo with your second character. And then Ekko's another assist, his basic assist. This is a quick little hit. This assist doesn't seem like much, but it might be one of the best in the game, simply because of the fact that it is so fast. If you do medium heavy into tag, so medium heavy tag, 3 hits, and then you hit tag again. In this game, once you tag, hit tag once more to swap into the character automatically. So let's say you're doing a combo with your second character, medium heavy, assist, medium heavy, and then you can keep going. So if you ever want a quick way to swap if you land the hit, for most characters can't do that. You see how Yasuo pops the assist up, you can't really combo off of it, they're in the air. But if I were to start as Yasuo, you know, I could tag in, back attack Ekko, and keep doing damage. Let's say if Ekko is dead, and you have your other character down, notice how there's 1 meter beneath the first one. Both of your characters have separate bars, so if I wanted to spend meter with Yasuo, it would not affect the meter that Ekko has. But if Ekko is dead and he still has meter, you can hit down plus assist to do Mega Timewinder assist. It's pretty alright, it does pretty decent damage, a lot more damage than his actual assist. But I would say, if you are going to use it at close range. Keep the combo going, or more pressure, since it has a lot of hits. So Ekko's main way he wants to get in is medium, heavy, S2, S2. Not the best combo, but it will work at most ranges. The good thing you can do with Ekko is always make sure that you're farther enough away that you can throw Timewinder and it'll slow them down, so you can get that confirmed. When you're not at that range, I would say do jump and do S1, because it almost immediately puts the Timewinder in the slow state where you can get that free hit. And then if you're farthest away, do the lob. Realize if they're coming at you, keep it there, and if they're not, hit it over. So basic combo you'll be looking for, because we're getting into combos, is medium heavy, down heavy, medium heavy, S2. That's it. Be sure to slow it down or break it down if you feel the need, but that's essentially what it is. You want to do medium heavy, medium heavy, S2. Now if you want to add a little more to that, medium heavy, medium heavy, S2, medium down heavy, medium heavy, forward S2. Make sure the forward is there at the end. Because if you just hit S2, you'll go back to the clone, like I said. So remember that all S2 buttons, if you want to do the normal again without going back to the clone, just hit forward. And this combo, if you can get the first part down, medium heavy, medium heavy, S2, you can get the second part down. You just have to hit forward near the end. And that's pretty good damage for most Ekko players. Ekko is not necessarily a high damage character, but the way that he can get hits off and the way that he can do certain combos with his after images, that's really what makes it count. And then you can always do medium heavy forward S1 for a combo. So a couple different routes right here: medium heavy, down heavy, medium heavy, S2, medium heavy, forward S1. It's also a pretty good route if you don't feel like doing the air combo. I would say it's a bit easier. I'm pretty sure it does less damage. Yes, it does. It does do less damage. But if you feel like you're scared of going in the air, of doing that air combo, this also works pretty well. Next is a bit of a intermediate combo. I would say if you can get this combo down pat, you'll be very fine. It's a bit difficult, so follow with me here. Medium heavy, S2, S2, super, down heavy, S1, roll, charge down heavy, charge heavy, S1, S2. I'll have the notation on screen, so you'll be sure. But essentially, if you can confirm medium heavy S2, S2 into super. These are the kind of combos you'll be able to do. Now, like I said, it's a bit more difficult. If you don't feel like you can do these combos, don't feel pressured to. Like I said, the down heavy air combo, this stuff, perfectly fine, perfectly good. If you're an Ekko player, it's really all you need. As long as you can make sure that you get those hits and make them count, that's what matters. So a big flashy combo isn't necessarily the greatest thing if you can't land the hit in the first place to get it. So that's why Ekko's normals, like I said, the medium heavy, are very useful. But if that looks cool to you, I would recommend to play Ekko. So always remember, when you're at long distances, throw S1. When you're not at that long of distances, aerial S1. When you're super far away, down S1 into heavy. And when you land the hit, make sure to use your S2 buttons. Now I'm going to show you a advanced level combo to see how cool Ekko can actually be, and if you really want to play Ekko, I would recommend potentially learning this combo if you feel comfortable with it. So I'm going to have the notation on screen. I'm also going to say it as I go through. Feel free to pause the video, put it at 0.25 speed, however you want to do it. So medium heavy, S2, S2, light medium, S2, down S2, charge S2, light medium heavy, forward S1, down S2, light medium heavy, ult. Now this will do max damage in the combo, roughly about that much. So I would say in the corner this is probably his best route, or his best combo. Like I said, if you don't feel like you can do it, don't worry about it. This is just the stuff that you might be able to do if you really put Ekko in the lab and understand how well that you can do it. But if you'll notice at the start of that combo, it was medium heavy, S2, S2. That's the basis of everything you're gonna need. So that's the basic Ekko guide. If you feel like Ekko's a strong character like I do, I would recommend playing Ekko. I'm gonna try to do, before the game comes out, hopefully, a guide for every character so you can feel like you have an understanding of characters in 2XKO, how they play, how they work, and how essentially cool they can all be. Because I feel like every character in this game has some crazy stuff, some crazy combos, and I've been hit by stuff that I never even thought could exist from what limited understanding that I have. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more stuff. Please leave a comment down below if you feel like this was informational or if you liked it. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.